everybody, welcome back to another episode of Woodmere Estate Revival. We are working on plumbing today, trying to get bathrooms finished up. Right now I'm in Grant's bathroom and working on getting his sink put together, and then I'll do the shower, get that knocked out, and then we're going to go ahead and put up medicine cabinets in both boys' bathrooms. So stick with us today and we're going to knock out some more of this plumbing, get these bathrooms in good shape. And if we got any time left at the end of the day, maybe we'll knock out a few things outside as well. Been trying to keep up with some of the outdoors projects, getting rid of old lumber and logs and stuff that we cut down off the property. Been having a few fires, just kind of get rid of all that stuff. So if we got any time left, we'll go ahead and knock out a little bit more of that today. Let me show you exactly what we're getting into. All right, so here's the top of Grant's sink. And as you can see, no faucet and no drain. And here's the underside of Grant's sink. You can see where our supply lines come in and our drain line goes out. Dangerously close to the drawer slider, but thankfully I was able to make it fit. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut off these copper stub outs and put on our SharkBite supply valves. Once we get those hooked up, we'll go ahead and get our sink mounted in place. Then we'll go ahead and put the drain in and hook up our trap. So that'll take care of this one. And then we'll move over here to the shower. See all the shower controls and everything in the box there. Gotta go ahead and mount the spigot and temperature controls and the shower head. So we can get started working on this sink and we'll update you guys in just a bit. All right, faucet has been attached and our supply valves are in place. Supply lines attached. So now we're getting ready to work on the drain. And we've got to apply some silicone to the underside of this trim piece, the flange that goes on the inside of the sink. And then the bottom screws into that. And then there's a nut and a washer and a rubber gasket to tighten up against the base of the sink, kind of sandwiching everything together. So that should work. Last time I did this, made a huge mess with the caulk because, you know, you put this bead of caulk around here and then there's actually very little that comes in contact with the edge of the sink. And so there's caulk squishing out everywhere. It's frustrating.
Yeah.
Having some tea?
Yeah, a little bit.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and put some caulk on here. Amber's got some paper towels in case I make a huge mess again. Thank you.
No frustration on your part.
No, never. Never. Making good progress here. All right, let's see if we can't get this thing installed.
You can cut the tension with a knife.
Machete.
Machete? Yeah, that's really about the truth. I don't know why this is stressful, but it is. There's a real pain in Reed's room.
It's because there's nothing to hold this
Yeah.
steady, and you have to reach underneath and thread that piece in and hold that steady at the same time. And it almost always wants to move on you right at the last second.
Yeah.
Looks pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Good job. Now what's next? The guts underneath?
We gotta go ahead and do the trap and all that stuff, but
Okay.
We also have to do the drain,
Yes.
pop-up drain.
Okay. Yeah.
Drain rod, that was a huge pain in the butt last time.
It was. So we picked this awesome Delta faucet.
Amber picked this awesome.
Yes. But
It's got this lovely curved
yeah, it's crazy design.
rod for the pop-up, and yeah, looks nice.
Yeah, but
Unfortunately, it makes it
very challenging.
curve back into the backsplash, and then also curve into the bowl of the sink.
Yeah.
No other way around it. So you got to kind of get it in there a little bit, and then bend it, and then get it in a little bit more, and then bend it. And
All right. Well, let's start that process.
can't wait. All right, so we got the pop-up drain installed with the linkage and everything. And the linkage was a pain, just like we knew it was going to be. Had to tweak and bend and adjust it to get it working right. But it's in there, and the drain opens and closes. It seems like everything's working without binding, so that's good. Just put my tailpiece extension on there and use the old solvent glue there to glue that fitting onto the end of the drain pipe there, so I can go ahead and hook up the P-trap. And got the P-trap loosely assembled here. Getting ready to go ahead and put it together there. See if I need to trim a little bit off of one piece or another. And then we'll go ahead and get everything tightened up, and we'll be ready to test the faucet out. Okay, we got the sink taken care of, so now we're getting ready to start on Grant's shower. First thing we have to do are remove these caps, and then there's some short nipples that go into the threaded fittings in the wall there, so we got to remove those. And then we'll pull the cap off the control valve here and install the control valve and the trim rings, the handle, all that stuff to get that going. So I'm gonna go ahead and take these upper and lower plugs out, and then we'll be able to install the spigot and the shower head and everything else and get this ready. Okay, so we're getting ready to install the tub spout. And if you look inside there, there's a brass fitting that is hooked into our PEX system. And it's called a drop ear fitting. It's got these ears on it that you can use to screw to the framing on the inside of the wall there. Then we got our hole through the Schluter and through the tile. Now we need to go ahead and get our faucet, our spout connected. And so with this style of spout, you've got multiple ways that you can hook it. Number one is called the slip-on style, and that's where you got copper actually stuck through the wall here. We don't have that. Next, after that, you've got iron pipe installation, and that's where you can actually thread a threaded pipe nipple into the wall. And we could do that, but that's not my favorite. Next one down is iron pipe installation, easy on tub spout. And that's actually what we have here. So the last two really apply to us. They're called the easy on. So you've got iron pipe, and you can actually thread the fitting into your iron pipe or onto your iron pipe. Or the last one is copper sweat, and you can actually sweat that thing on if you want to. And we're not going to do that. We're going to do kind of a hybrid. So let me show you. Let's see, where's my fitting? So ours is a little bit different. This is the fitting that it comes with. And this is meant to slip over copper pipe. And then there's a set screw that actually attaches it, tightens it down on the copper pipe, keeps it from slipping off. There's an O-ring inside it. And so if you've got copper pipe sticking out, you can actually slide this thing over it. And as you see there, it gives you the distance that it can be from your finished wall. So 1/4 inch to 1 inch. So 1/4 inch to 1 inch from the tile is where this thing's gonna sit, like so. And in order to adapt this brass fitting to that style, I've made a copper pipe with a threaded fitting on it. So I sweated a fitting onto the end of this 1/2 inch copper pipe. And so now this gets threaded into the wall like so. Put some Teflon tape on it. And then I'll put this brass fitting over it, mark it, figure out where I need to cut it off so that the spout threads on in the right spot, cut it off, and then slip this thing on, tighten down with the set screw. And then the spout is actually threaded on the inside. So it just threads on right over top of that guy, and there's an O-ring that fits down in the bore and an O-ring that fits over that copper pipe. So you just thread this thing on until it's nice and tight, and that's your spout. So pretty simple installation. Again, it gives you options. You know, you could use the iron pipe, you could use a sweated copper installation, or you can kind of do a hybrid, which is what I'm doing, using this, what they call the easy on fitting here that just slips on over top of it with an O-ring. You could sweat that on, and I don't, not necessarily opposed to that, but the nice thing is that you can always disassemble it and replace the O-ring if you get a leak in the future. If you need to change your tile or whatever, you can. This gives you some flexibility because you can kind of take it all apart. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this piece, put some Teflon tape on here, get it threaded into the wall, and then we'll make our mark and then cut it off and get our spout installed. All right, so there's our easy on fitting. So I got the copper pipe and its copper male fitting threaded into that brass fitting in the wall, and then cut it off to the correct length. Again, we wanted 1/4 to 1 inch of spacing between this fitting and the wall. And so we got that. And now we're gonna go ahead and thread our spout onto our fitting. Let's see if I can do this and hold the phone at the same time. Push and turn at the same time. Get it past the O-ring there. There we go. So it's nice and tight there, but as you can see, it's cockeyed. So what I'll do is I'll take this spout off and then loosen up the easy on fitting, turn it about 1/4 of a turn to the left, and then we'll be able to thread this back on, and that'll make it tighten up before it actually goes crooked. So let me go ahead and spin this thing off, and then I'll move the fitting, the easy on fitting, and then go ahead and put that on one more time. All right, nice and snug against the tile and nice and straight. Next, we're gonna move on to our control valve here. We'll go ahead and take the dummy cap out of the end and install the valve assembly, the cartridge they call it, and then we'll go ahead and get the trim ring and everything installed and then attach our handle. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and loosen up the ring here. I always like to check, knock it loose. There's an O-ring on this plug. Before I take this ring completely off, I always like to check, make sure that it's not pressurized. We've had a few different water supplies that either weren't labeled incorrectly or there was something a little funny about the way they were labeled. And so we've turned on a few things that actually we didn't need to turn on. So I'm just being real careful about when I take stuff loose like this. So we got it loose, no water spraying out, so it's safe to go to take the rest of the way off. All right, so we got our plug out. We can disregard that. Then there's a screen inside there. We disregard that. Not disregard, we discard it. Disregard it. I guess we kind of disregard it too. Mostly we just discard it. And then the cartridge has an H on the hot side. And so that gets installed on the left. As they say in plumbing, hot's on the left, cold's on the right, and poop goes downhill. Plumbers. All right, so make sure there's no debris in there. Looks good. So we got the H side on the left. Now we'll go ahead and get this pushed in. There she is. Just needed a little bit of lubrication there. Now we'll go ahead and reapply our ring here. Make sure that's good and tight. Got our scald guard here, it's set on neutral, so we're just gonna leave it there. Next, we'll get ready to install our trim ring. Open up our parts kit here. There's a large O-ring. And that goes on just behind this ring like so. And that's what gives your trim piece something to ride on actually. Now that sits right on the O-ring and kind of rolls the O-ring out along the body there. And that supports it, keeps it from wiggling around. And then we got our trim ring here. Just make sure the delta goes up, hot's on the left, off's on the right. So we'll slide that over. And you kind of look through the holes and see the screw holes through the hole. So I kind of look through there and make sure I'm keeping them pretty well lined up there. We'll go ahead and get a couple of screws out. Get our Phillips screwdriver here to get those started. And we missed with that one. Got that one. Get that one started. Get this one back out here. Let's try this one more time. Got it that time. And we'll go to get this one threaded in. Come on in, Amber.
Oh, you're taping.
Yeah.
Oh. And now I'm eating.
You're eating?
Cucumbers and olives.
Amber's eating cucumbers and olives, drinking sweet tea, and I'm working on the shower.
You're almost right. It's unsweet tea.
Oh, sorry.
I'd rather be drinking sweet, but
So unsouthern of you.
I know. I love sweet tea, but
All right, got our controls on. Now we're just ready for our handle. They give you an Allen key, and there's a little tiny set screw. It's headless. A lot of people call them a worm screw. And we're just going to get that started. Make sure it's not sticking out beyond the side of the handle. You can look inside there and know when you got it pretty close. Handle goes to the right, to the off position. When everything's lined up right. There we go. Okay, and then we'll just tighten it down so it doesn't fall off in Grant's hand. Snug. We'll snap it off. All right, everything works. Next, we're going to move on to installing the shower head. And just like before, we got to take this plug or this cap off of here. And there's a short nipple inside of here. We got to take that off too. Drop it in the tub. It's cool. It's plastic. All right, let's back this nipple out. Okay. All right, long side goes in the wall. First thing we got to do is apply the Teflon tape. Seal up the threads here. You always wind this stuff clockwise as you're looking at it. Depending how good the threads are, usually 1.5 to 2 turns around it is good. Snap it off. The reason you do it clockwise as you're looking at it is because when you rip that last piece off, it sinks down into the threads, and then you're turning it in this way, so you're actually turning away from that. Otherwise, if you did it the other way, it'd have a tendency to want to peel that Teflon tape off as you're threading it in. All right, so let's go ahead and get this guy started here. We'll thread it on. Don't worry, the escutcheon goes on afterwards. We don't have to worry about that. Okay, so we're going to get this threaded in here. Put enough Teflon tape on it, it should get tight about the time that we're ready to straighten it up. Sometimes it gets tight before you're ready, or you can't quite have enough grip on it, so I'll just take the handle on my channel locks. You don't want to put a lot of pressure on it because you'll end up bending your pipe. So that's actually really tight right there. See if I can get it to turn. Now so that tells me you either have to put a little more Teflon tape on it or a little less. Only did 2 turns the first time around. So I'll go ahead and put a third on there. Can't reuse it, so you just take off what you put on. All right, let's wrap this baby in Teflon tape again. Okay, so we went 3 that time. That should get it tight earlier. Hopefully in the right spot this time. Sometimes you get lucky, sometimes a little trial and error. It's okay. I think we're going to be all right. Oh, beautiful. It looks nice and straight. Now we'll put our escutcheon on. Because it won't fit over the shower head. Once you get the shower head on, it ain't going on, right? Doesn't look very good without an escutcheon. So we're going to peel our protective tape off of here. Okay, escutcheon's in place. We'll be able to put some Teflon tape on. Gotta wrap that Teflon tape, even though it has a gasket inside, it would still leak around the threads. All right, let's go ahead and get this bad boy threaded on there. Actually, you know what? Let me make sure this. Yep, there's a screen in there, and then there's the O-ring, a gasket. So I just want to make sure that was straight. The last one I put on, the gasket was in there crooked, and it caused a leak after I got it threaded on. It was a little pinched or something, and it wanted to leak. So I just threaded on hand tight. And there's a rubber gasket in there, so you don't have to make this super tight. Hand tight, that'll get it to contact. And I usually just give it another half turn or 3/4, just kind of by feel. Feel that snug up against the gasket there. And then if you need to, if you're super anal, you can straighten up the shower head. I mean, you don't want the words crooked, right? I mean, give that just a little bit more here. Our delta's upside down. That won't do. So we'll spin that around. Nice and straight. Done. All right, so there you have it. The tub spout, shower controls, shower head, everything's installed. And again, we got our sink done. So we'll go ahead and turn the water on up in the attic there, bleed the air out of the system, and see if we got any leaks. Looks really, really good. All right, so I'm up in the attic and just turned on the cold water and the hot water to the sink, and Amber is on the other end of the house. We're using these walkie-talkies. These things are great. That way I can tell her what's going on, she can tell me what's going on, and we don't have to scream. We're have one of the kids be the go-between. So we got the sink working. Now we're going to move on and get the shower turned on. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started on the cold water for the shower. Let's see, we got bedroom 3 vanity, bedroom 3, bathroom 3 tub. Here we go. Lots of water running through, lots of air in the lines. Okay, bathroom 3 tub, cold water is on. All right, the last thing we did was wrap up some wiring here in the bathroom. Went ahead and swapped Grant's old switches out for paddle style and put a GFCI breaker on there. And the lights are working nicely. The only thing we can't figure out is we don't have power to the fan light switch or this outlet. And we got to do some more sleuthing because everything in the breaker box is on. It's not like there's a breaker that's not engaged. So we're not exactly sure. Maybe that wire jumper's from somewhere else. Maybe an outlet in his bedroom. I'm not sure. So we're gonna have to do a little sleuthing. We'll try to track down the issue there, but we went ahead and got the switch and the outlet and everything there. This extra wire is for the light. So the fan is hooked up currently. We've got to get a double switch to go here that'll switch the fan and the light. But still, there's no power coming on this hot and the hot for the outlet. So don't know what's going on there. But that just about wraps up Grant's bathroom. We still have to hang up his medicine cabinet, but that's not getting done today. We're running out of time here. But other than that, we got the shower looking good. Just got to put up his curtain rod and a curtain. He'll be able to use this tonight. And so that's exciting. Got the sink working, so he'll be able to brush his teeth in his bathroom tonight. That'll be awesome. So I'm just gonna clean up this mess here and get all the tools and everything put away. We're gonna go ahead and get things wrapped up for the evening. All right, so thanks for hanging out with us today. We got some good projects knocked out. Didn't we, hon? Yay. Just checking things off the list, you know, just trying to get these bathrooms knocked out. And that's making us happy, making the boys happy. So we're gonna go ahead and try to trace down that electrical issue, but not tonight. We'll see what's going on there. But other than that, we got to hang up the shower curtain, as I mentioned, and his medicine cabinets, and this bathroom's pretty well done. So excited to move on to another part of the project. We'll keep you guys updated. Be sure to hit that subscription button so you don't miss a single episode. Give us a like if you would, please. Got any comments or questions? As always, leave those down below. Keep sharing the channel. We love seeing all the new subscribers. Love getting the comments and the views and everything. So thank you guys. See you again real soon. Take care. Bye-bye.